Hey there, I'm Jen. Welcome back to my channel where we talk about all things art and crazy things that are happening in this art world. Today's video is about AI and whether or not I think it's possible for AI to replace working artists, because as a working artist myself, believe me, I have thoughts and opinions. So get ready with me while we talk about all the complexities that goes into this question. Will AI replace artists? In some ways yes, in some ways no, but let's talk about it. 3 reasons why I don't think it'll fully replace artists. Quick editor's note here. As I was editing and finishing up this video, I realized that I left out some important context for the state of the art world and how AI is currently affecting artists for those who are not artists or may not know what is going on. So here's a very quick breakdown. AI started becoming popular and being used more and more in the past year. There was recently a huge scandal in how this affected the film industry, where because of how new AI is, there was no lawful protections in using this software at the expense and exploitation of real people's salaries. And during the past year, writers and actors alike went on strike for 146 days, I believe, to protest the unethical use of AI. For example, photographing an actor one time and using software to endlessly repeat their image. And now thousands of people who would have otherwise been employed as background actors are now being exploited by producers who want to use their image without paying them endlessly per their use. Long story short, the strike was successful as far as I've heard, and we now have increased consent protection requirements for using someone's likeness through AI. But this scandal definitely raised a lot of questions, and it scared a lot of people, namely artists. Now, I'm not a huge expert on that whole fiasco I just mentioned, so if you're interested in learning more about the writer's strike, I highly recommend that you look up other people who are experts on this case so that you can learn a little bit more about that. But in this video, I'm going to talk specifically about how AI may or may not replace 2D artists and graphic designers, because that's where my specialty lies. Watching this video back after research, I definitely lean more towards optimism, and there is a greater conversation to be held still. Either way, without further ado, let's get into it. Hi, I'm Jen. I'm an artist and a creative professional. I just like that term, so I'm gonna start using it. I believe that artists are translators of the world, and that art, like writing, is just one more medium to tell stories in. You can find my website through the link in the description to check out some heartfelt and inspiring images that I create. I have a most recent collection called Breathing, which is a series of oil paintings mostly, as well as some prints. If you love Target sprees or coffee shops or self-love, journaling, things like that, I really do think that you would enjoy my artwork. So at this point, I usually use my cat Tazo to bribe you into subscribing to this channel, so subscribe to give Tazo a treat. Anyway, onto the video. So will AI take artists' jobs? I saw this reel on Instagram while scrolling. I'll put it up on the screen here. And I literally just opened up my Google Docs to write the script for this video, because just the way the reel was phrased really got my brain thinking, and it centers around the idea of an artist versus a problem solver. I've been thinking about this a lot because I've recently rebranded my art business and started going like full throttle into my art career, thinking so much about the question of, does art solve a problem? For instance, an artist who creates an awesome, thrilling, show-stopping novel, right? They're representing a unique vision of how they see the world and are translating it for others to see it the same way as well. But an author can also create a 3-step guide to finding the right grocery store near you. Are they both artists? Or are they just someone who possesses a similar looking skill set? What if the same person does both things, you know? It's a question to think about, to wonder about. Side note, nowadays I think the second one is called copywriters, but I see visual artists very similarly. Someone can create the Mona Lisa, or they can create a graphic that says buy one get 2 free at your favorite clothing store boutique. They can create clip art that goes into the corporate slideshow for budget meetings. The latter two solve a problem. The first one, not really. But are the latter two an artist? And so when we ask, will AI take over artists' jobs, my perspective is they might take over the jobs that fulfill a certain need, but not necessarily the art where we are translating and exploring more of the world. The expression part, where people still do purchase artwork and collect things that are meaningful to them, AI can never replace that second one, right? But there's a possibility it could replace the first. But let's also consider some reasons why, even if AI were to be fully acceptable to use, why might it not replace even the second one? You know, let's just go through a little thought experiment. Think of all the moments in your life when you have to deal with a machine. Think of all the moments in your life when you have to deal with a machine and you would rather not. Like when you get on the phone and you hear a robot's voice and you want to immediately hang up. Or when you're trying to use one of those machines to order food and it's like just not giving you what you want it to give you. And you're like, is there a human being here that I can talk to? You know what I mean? A lot of times people just like knowing that they're working with people. Leading into our next reason, I don't think AI can fully replace human artists because only humans can understand the complexity of our requests and quickly problem solve so much faster than a machine could. You can put prompts into a machine and it'll chug out something, but think about the frustration a user might go through to get the exact answer to their problems versus talking it through with a human, and suddenly they can understand those complexities so much faster and be adaptable and flexible to change a way a machine might not be. The way I see it, AI might take over small and easy requests, but they can never fully replace the complexity of the requests for larger projects. AI might be a tool, but I don't think it would ever get so far as to say AI would fully replace artists, because AI can create products that fill a need in a market. Yes, there's a high chance that that can start taking jobs that would have belonged to artists, but it makes me wonder, hasn't that happened before? You know, like in the 1900s when people used to hand paint furniture. Don't those jobs now belong to actual, oh my gosh, I shouldn't talk while doing my eyeliner. Give me a sec. All right, cheeky. This is messy makeup with Jen. So think about the early 1900s when people used to hand paint furniture. And I'm assuming now machines have that job where it just like chucks out the same printed furniture on all these machines. I don't know, I'm thinking of that movie Big Eyes with Amy Adams when she's hand painting the furniture and I'm like, do people still do that? So I could be wrong, but let me think. Self-checkout, there's an actual one I can validate. Anyway, the point is, think about times when machines have replaced other human jobs before and you still prefer a human touch. Now think about the actual act of those jobs and how being an artist can be so much more complex. I have a hard time believing that artists will not be existent, and like that's just not how this works. There was even a top comment on that reel that I have to remember. I'm gonna see if I can put it up on the screen maybe, but it said something like, I create art because I want to, period, end of story. So that's one aspect that we have. Humans are so complex and our requests can be even more complex that having AI completely fill that role just doesn't seem feasible to me. So that's number one. Requests are complex and they require complex solutions. When you have complex requests, which corporations often do, because oftentimes they don't understand their own ask, so the process of working with a human artist is helping them get clear on their request. Complex requests require the complexity of a human solution. So that's number one, why AI won't fully replace artists. The number two is robots and AI can often be frustrating or annoying to operate, and humans just prefer a human touch. So that's number two. Think of all the times in your life when you have had to deal with a robot or some kind of automated system and you're like, dude, give me a human. And the third one is think about the empathy that humans innately have, which not only drive consumer purchases and drive the market, but also drive people who are hiring and trying to fill that request or need. So let me give you an example. Whenever you go, there's a site called Fair where you can wholesale your artwork. I'm currently getting my own profile up there. But the reason why Fair is so popular and how it exists and is so widespread is because it has special functions that say unique things about these small businesses that give you an edge up over larger corporations so that you, as the underdog, can sell your artwork. Things like being women-owned, Black-owned, LGBT-owned, sustainable practices. Think about how many people in the world are like, oh, I only want to buy organic produce. Oh, I only want to support insert item. Because of the empathy that we have as humans, as consumers, corporations are required to oftentimes advertise how they appeal to your empathy. And if they know that they're using AI as the sole place to get all of their information, they are seriously underserving a huge part of the market that they could otherwise be serving. So from a business perspective, it makes more sense to hire actual artists, because if the market catches wind that they're only ever using AI, there's a huge chance that they will alienate a part of their market and undercut their sales and their profit. And then think about people who could hire artists who just innately have that empathy for themselves. They're not thinking, I have to appeal to the market in order to, they're not thinking that far, but they're thinking, me as a person, I value actual artists and I actually want to hire those artists. That said, I'm not fully naive to the fact that artists won't lose some jobs because of this. There are some things that maybe AI can do that 20 years ago there was no option for someone to just plug in a prompt and then get a graphic that's close enough that it works. That said, I do think that people who are jumping to the conclusion of, oh my gosh, AI is stealing all of the jobs, I do think that's jumping a little bit too far. And maybe I'm an optimist, maybe I'm naive. So if you have a different opinion, definitely put it in the comments. Maybe you're an artist who had their job stolen by AI, I'm not sure. Moral of the story here is, will AI take some jobs? In my opinion, yes, but it's the grunt work. And it could never fully replace the unique abilities that artists have. I do think it gives artists an opportunity to lean a little bit more into their creative side, maybe to stay competitive within the market, but it really does make me think about who is this artist that people are saying is being replaced. I'm trying to think of them as a person, as one entity, and it's hard for me to think about that because sometimes when I hear this conversation, I feel like a lot of it's fear-mongering. I do think that people value the human touch and we will never be satisfied just with AI alone. Also think about problems that AI creates that artists will have to go in and solve. I don't know. I have thoughts and opinions. So what do you think? Will artists be replaced? What does the future look like? My oh my. I have written into my script to be like, Tazo, any clue? But I locked him upstairs because he was just wreaking havoc left and right. There's no. Side note, I also got a new cat recently. Her name is Cindy and she's beautiful but also a huge menace. Her name was Alfie at first, but then she sounded so much like a Pokemon when we got her. Also, she was a girl and we thought when we adopted her she was a boy, but she sounded so much like a Pokemon, so we named her Cyndaquil. Cindy for short. That's just my rambling for the day. So as I was getting ready here, I don't know if I'm too much of an optimist to see this objectively. I don't know, but whenever I see these posts, it just makes me think, I mean, I don't see it happening. I could be naive, so if you have a different opinion, definitely let me know in the comments. First of all, hold on, let's look at how cute these earrings are though. I got them at a recent art market. And the creator actually does not have an Instagram or anything related to her business yet. So once she does, I'll put it into the description later, but I'm absolutely in love with these earrings. I just gotta say, they're beautiful and they're so cute. They're like little bears. Oh my gosh, I love them. Anyway, I'm on to my day. Today on my agenda, I have to finish the designs for some of these products for my shop, and then I will be able to put them up and it'll be so much fun. I have a card that I'm designing as well as a little notebook with the cover on it. If you enjoyed this video and want more like it, definitely give it a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel. It helps me more than you know. I do have an email list in my description if you want to receive emails from me about what I'm creating right now in my art career, and I also have my website to view my work. But either way, spending any amount of time here on this channel with me is such a gift. I cannot say that enough. I really do consider it a gift, and for that, this humble artist says thank you. This is my favorite mug. I don't know what my hair is doing today.